Hey everyone. Hey, how's everybody doing today? This is Patricia Love, your rah real estate agent. Woohoo! And who do we have on this next to me? Who is that over there?
Augie Anderson, the digital diva, in all her crown glory.
I can see that. Well, you're looking good. I'm actually a little under the weather, everybody. So if I sound a little nasally or a little sexy to some people, I don't know what I might be sounding like, but it's not quite me. And my energy level may not be normal. So if you think like, what's wrong with her? It's because I have a slight cold. So, but I'm on the mends, so that's a good thing. So we're all positive. Yeah. So I'm actually wishing it out. I'm trusting it for it to go away. I'm releasing it. So,
yeah. Purge, baby. Purge.
Yeah. Me and Fancy have had a little chat today that she said, "Don't give me that cold," and I'm like, "I promise I won't." But hey, what are we talking about today? And last week we talked about ego, right? We chatted about ego because we're getting real life results, right? This is what we talk about, right, Augie?
Yes, we did. And I believe one of the things we're going to put up today, because I mentioned it last week, Patricia's going to do that at some point. We talked about The Untethered Soul, a book that I think is phenomenal by Michael Singer. And he really does give you great advice on how to reduce that chatter and to be an observer. And it's a great book. I think it's just a magnificent read. And I highly recommend it. And Patricia's going to put that in the comments.
I just put it in the comments, so they should be seeing it. Everything's
awesome.
2 or 3 seconds behind, but they should be getting it any time.
So today we're gonna do this big, huge, hairy topic of the fear of failure.
I woke up fearful, just knowing we were talking about it.
Well, and let me tell you, everyone has that, I think, at some point in their life of worrying, of failing at something. And you know what? It's natural, Patricia.
Yeah, it is.
Natural
it is
to feel that. What you don't want is it to stifle you and suffocate you and deter you from getting results that you want in your life, whether it's income, weight, whatever it is. That, it's like, I'm going to go with somebody, but I'm afraid he's not going to like me. And it's that fear of failure that the relationship won't work. Or like me, I want to lose this weight, but I don't think I can do it. Now I'm afraid. We go these
cycles. Isn't that called the chatter, mind chatter? It's called mind chatter. It's like, you can't do it. I'm scared. Be scared. You're going to fail. It is. It's ingrained in us from youth. I mean, honestly, because, everybody is like, when we're 2 and 3 years old, what happens? We run over, we fall down, we just run, we cry. But all of a sudden, people start saying, oh, be careful, don't do that. Oh, be careful, don't do this. You hurt yourself. So all of a sudden, you start getting your mind like, oh, I shouldn't do that. That's going to be fearful. Or people start hearing this. And so that chatter starts at a very young age. And so for it to go completely away is difficult. It's difficult. Yes. So we just have to stop the chatter, make that chatter less, is what I believe. That's that fearfulness.
Exactly. And part of that, you almost don't stop chatter, you turn it around. You turn chatter around to go, you know what, I'm going to learn from this. It's like, I found this great article on how to conquer the fear of failure, which Patricia's going to put up also.
I can do that.
It really talks about great ways to conquer your whole psyche, I think it is. It's not just your mind chatter, but your psyche is what it is. And so one of the things that is said, and we're talking about goals this month, is to reframe your goals. And, I think that was like a really important point put out, is when you reframe the goal. And first of all, with anything that you're doing, if you've learned from it, you succeed. And that's really a great way to prevent that stifling fear of going, but I'm going to learn from this. It's okay if I fall down and go boom, because I'll pick myself right back up.
We just have to get right back up. Now, I just put that in the comments also, so both of them are in the comments. Oh, and guess what? Monique, she thinks we're funny.
Oh, well, we strive to be entertaining, Monique. Is this our Monique who wants to have, I'm trying to remember her goal now. She's the one that wanted, Monique, refresh me because I remember.
She wants to start a travel company or a travel
company. That's it, travel company. Monique, how you doing with that? We're dying to know if you're on path. Let us know.
Right. So put in the comments how you're doing. Is this thought of failure freaking you out? Is that something that's holding you back possibly? So let us know, because we can help you do that, because that's what we're really talking about today, is the fear, of failure, because everybody has it. We just have to lessen it. Now, what I've actually done in the past, which has actually helped me a lot, is because the word fear itself freaks everybody out. So again, like you just talked about, Augie, I decided to kind of turn it around a little bit and just say, you know what? I'm just going to embrace fear. I'm going to like, hey, yo, come here, fear. Come bring it on, baby. Bring on the fear. And the more I do that, the less fearful I am.
Well, I will tell you, Elizabeth Gilbert, who is the author of Eat, Pray, Love, has another book, Big Magic. She actually wrote a letter to fear. And because, we need a certain amount of fear in our life. Yes. Because we don't want to get hit by a car. I mean, there's real fears, genuine fears. But she wrote a letter.
There's gut fears and there's mental fears, yeah.
That's right. She wrote a letter to fear and said, fear, you get to sit in the back seat, not the driver's seat. And I think that's it, is because the fear, first of all by itself, is going to become a chokehold. And then that fear blends into failure. You don't do something perfectly right, and you're like, oh, I knew I couldn't do it. Oh, I'm worthless. Yeah. I'm that and the other thing. And you're doing it in your mind. You're not even doing it on a conscious level. That's what's a little bit scary, because
that is what's scary, because we're doing it on an unconscious level. That is so true. And I think this is what people don't realize. They think that they're just they're just walking through it, or they think they're doing something, but really they're paralyzing themselves, because they just actually aren't even thinking about it, because it's so in the back. They just want to. That's holding them back. I mean, it's like Monique's going to PM us, private message us regarding what hers is, because that's what she says. She says the part that's the most scary. She says, yes, the thought of failure is there. And that is so true for everybody, right? But I don't know. It's like, I'm going to put this in an example. Do you have any friends, Augie, that when they start getting to the age like 35, 40, 45, or 50, and they're freaking out because they're so fearful of getting old?
Yes.
Okay. What I started doing when I was 30, because all my friends around me were acting, fearful about turning that age and different things, I decided, you know what? This is something that I can't do anything about in particular. I can, make myself take care of myself, but I decided to embrace the age, embrace the number. And now I'm not scared of any number. It's 60, 65. I'm not scared of these numbers. And that's fear also. There's fear in all kinds of things. Fear of failure in a business, fear of failure, fear of getting old, fear. I mean, if we let that mind chatter just go, that's what makes us crazy. So how do we soften this chatter? How do we really soften it?
So here, I'm going to tell you, in this great...
Are you going to tell me? God dang it, Augie, would you tell me how to soften this thing?
Hold on. So
I need to know. We both need to know.
In this article, Vanessa Loader says, visualize the obstacles. Visualize them. What do you got to go through? Monique, what do you got to go through?
Well, here's what she's saying right now.
Visualize any obstacles that you can't, try and foresee what the fear is. Like, what's that fear about? That you won't get clients?
Her fear is letting others down.
Visualize those obstacles and then see yourself just being able to say, I'm going to be able to handle that if I have to face it. And maybe I'll get it, maybe I won't, but I'll learn from it. And if you learn from it, Anthony Robbins says you can never fail if you learn from an experience. It's a beautiful thing. And let me tell you something. If you don't fail at some stuff, there's no way to succeed, because failure is a part of success.
Yeah, and regarding what she's talking about as fear of letting others down, I understand what you're trying to say, Monique. But if there are people that love and care for you and support you, they're always going to be there and love and support you, and your real friends. If they're not, then those are the ones you don't really need in your life anyway. I mean, that's really the way I look at it. There was something on television, or this morning actually, that says, our life is like on a bus, and there's bus stops, and there's a lot of people on the bus that are part of our lives and different things, and that a lot of times people who get off the bus are supposed to get out of our lives. That's their stop to move on. And in reality, we really can't start comparing ourselves to what others think or do or the such, because if we do that, then we'll never move on, because we'll always have that in our brains. The people who love and care for you will always support you. You'll never let me down, Monique. The main thing is you want to try, because you don't want to be 75 or 80, 85 and go, I wish I would have done it. Even if I failed, at least you tried. Hey,
let me tell you something. Woulda, shoulda, coulda is ugly. Don't go there. Woulda, shoulda, coulda. No. We don't do that. So it's okay to not have a answer. It's okay if you make a mistake. It's okay to not feel 1,000% about what you're doing, because that's just the part of the whole life game. It's good that you're here, because we're all talking about it. I've just said, for 5 years or so, I'm going to get this excess weight off. Some fear of failure was there for me. You can't even pinpoint it, what it's been.
Well, I'll tell you. Let me ask you this, right when you're talking about this, because we're just talking about what other people think. Was there a part of you when you lost weight, gained weight, or whatever you may have done, that you would let others down? Because you might have told other people. Was there a part of that at all, or did you have a support? I would just like to chat about that.
I'm sure, like no one would ever say anything, but you know what people were doing? They're going, oh my God, she's gained weight.
But you know what? Unfortunately, that's what all people are. Those are the chatterboxes. Those are the people that we don't really care about in our lives. We can't worry about what everybody thinks about us anymore. We just can't.
I'll tell you, at that time, I didn't have the tools I have now about understanding ego, about understanding psyche, about understanding fears, about understanding subconscious. I didn't understand all that when I was going through the process before. And now that I do have a better hold on that, I am constantly at ego going, oh no, girl, we ain't going there. We're going this way. We're going this way. Sorry.
I think you just hit the nail on the head here. The biggest thing is really being aware of your thoughts and what they are. Being aware of your thoughts and not ignoring them, acknowledging them. Because when we acknowledge the fact that we're fearful, we can deal with it. We can actually say, I am not going to listen to you, fear. But when you're not, if you don't really stop, look, and listen, you might say, to your mind and your body and everything there. I mean, people stop and they think about their body. I mean, a lot of people work out. A lot of people do things. They're thinking about their body, but they don't work on the mind part. The mind is so important. So it goes in cohesiveness with the body too. Now, working on the body a lot of times will get your mind better. It does. But you really have to stop and take the time to be aware and acknowledge every feeling you have inside, whether that's fear, whether that's unworthiness, whether it's any kind of thing that comes up. So or ego, when you're aware of these things, that's when we can start acknowledging them. Because now don't know about you, Augie, but for me, I am so in tune and aware of the crap that goes on in my head now that I can stop and go, at least I can stop it, or at least work on it that day. If I'm having a tougher day on that particular area, I can work on it that day. I had some fear, just to give an example, I had some fear the other day regarding some business that I was doing. And it was actually a little bit, I was procrastinating about some things. And I said to myself, finally, I'm going to look you in the face, fear, and I'm going to take you head on. And guess what? It wasn't as bad as I thought. But I I made all the stuff up in my head. So we create our own issues.
That's what happens. And the thing is, we can let that go, and we can be kind to ourselves, and we can cut ourselves a break. And it is being cognizantly aware of what's disturbing you. Sometimes I have to go, Agatha, why are you thinking about that? What a waste of thought.
Exactly. We waste so many thoughts.
And go, what are you why are you thinking about this? This should not be occupying your brain at this time.
Right.
So why are you letting that fear hold you back from doing this next thing? Honestly, you want to grow, you want to expand, and you're going to let fear stand in the way? Ain't happening.
Yeah, we have to SWAT it. I mean, when it comes up, and I want you, like Monique or everybody else is watching today. First off, just to remind everybody, I'm Patricia Love, the RahRah Real Estate Agent. We have Augie Anderson next to us, and we are talking about getting real life results. This week, we're talking about fear and how, it really stops us from doing so many things, but we need to push through it. I know fear is a big one for a lot of people, and a lot of people don't acknowledge it.
Especially fear of failure. There's fear and there's fear of failure. And remember, this month we're talking about goals. Yes. And so we're bringing this up because if you have a goal you're pursuing that's really important to you and you're not making progress with that goal, you have to kind of go, why? Not shame on me or bad me or I'm not being worthy or whatever, but why am I not? And listen to what's going on to go, something is stopping me. And I'll say 9 times out of 10, that's fear. 9 times out of 10, it's fear.
I agree. And I think also to add to that if those, you acknowledge the fact that that's probably fear and you get the why there, start writing the whys down. Write them out.
Yes. One of the other cool things, I'm going to refer back to this, is surrender and feel the fear. Just feel it. Just surrender and go, I'm afraid. This sucks. Yes. I'm afraid. Call Patricia. Patricia, I'm afraid. And she could go, why, girl? You don't need to be afraid.
Acknowledging it. We have to acknowledge it. Surrender to it. Say, yes, I'm scared. I'm fearful. I'm scared of failure. Acknowledge, and then you can start working on it. Then you should start writing things down. Well, why? Why are you afraid? What's holding you back? And it may take not 5 seconds. It may take 2 days or a week to write this stuff down. But you got to start doing that because the first thing you've done is you've started and you've acknowledged it. That's key. That's key.
So, Patricia, tell me, darling, what happens when we acknowledge the fear of failure? How can we move forward?
How can we acknowledge that? When we acknowledge it, we move forward because we can figure out how to fix what's the problem is. Because once you acknowledge it, then you can start analyzing, saying, okay, for me to move forward because of this fear of failure, I got to write down what I am scared of, what is holding me back, what is it that's, is it my friends, is it this, is it that, to start moving my forward so you can start trusting yourself.
Right. Good advice.
So, that's my thoughts. Augie, you probably have a thought too, because we both have thoughts all the time.
I'm just really, I'm in line with you, is acknowledge the fear, feel the fear, surrender. Find serenity in your heart to say, I'm good enough. I can do whatever I choose to do. And I am so capable of succeeding at whatever I want to do. I'm capable. And once you start using that language versus, it's too hard, it's taking a lot of money, it's too hard, I got to eat weird, we whine about it.
No, and it's so true. Basically, you're identifying the root cause. And the root cause, if that's fear of failure, then you really need to acknowledge that. And then there's reasons why you're fearful. There's always reasons. And you have to go deep. This is where it gets a little too hard. And sometimes we don't want to go there is the problem. Sometimes we don't want to know
what they're going to face.
Exactly.
What they're going to face.
You're scared of what you might find. You might scared you find like, oh, I didn't like that part of you, Patricia. I know when I had to go deep into things, there were some things I had to go so deep, and I had to acknowledge the fact that there are some parts of me that I didn't like. But that doesn't mean that I couldn't change those parts.
That's right. That's right.
But I had to go deep enough to say, ooh, I no wonder why I've been pushing it back, because I didn't want to acknowledge that. I really didn't want to think that I was that way, or that I could be that way, or whatever. So when you get to that root of it, and then you can start writing down and acknowledging, that's when you're really going to start to move forward, because then you can start moving forward into ways of getting around that fear, going over that fear, underneath that fear, or just blowing a hole right through it. Anything you need to do to get through it.
So let's ask our audience, can y'all drop a comment on a suggestion you have that we may have not covered on how you can move forward towards success and, conquer that fear? So
Monique's put up here that she did learn during her fitness journey that the mind, nutrition, and working out all work together. So I think that's a good thing to say, because we can work on the mind all day long, just like separately. And we can work on the body all day long, and you can be, Hunkaville and all that stay, or you can be Smartyville or whatever for the mind. But in reality, everything works together. I hate to tell you, but the head is not separate from the body.
Right.
Okay? We can't just pick that up and move it over here, okay? And work on it like la la la, like a Barbie doll. You just can't do that, okay? Like a wig, you can't do that. Yeah, it all goes together. The mind makes the body. The mind is actually the strongest of all of them. The mind makes the body work.
Yes.
And so if we get the mind right, along with getting the body right, it flows like a river. It flows, it starts to meander and not hit the rocks all the time. It starts to meander, go around those rocks. And if it sees an obstacle, it goes around them and over them, but it doesn't slam up against them as much.
Very good point. Hey, for those of you that are tuning in, we're doing real life results with goals this month. And today we're talking about conquering the fear of failure, because a lot of people that want to achieve a goal and see a result find themselves, especially mid-year. You started out in January going, I'm going to accomplish this, and mid-year going, I'm not even close, right? So whatever the goal is, doesn't matter what it is, what result you're shooting for. If you're just tuning in with us or you're watching this later, we want your comments, and we invite you to join in this conversation, because the whole reason Patricia and I do this is to be a support system to ourselves and to our audience on achieving real life results.
Oh, and guess what else? We may have had these things happen to us. Like failure, the thought of failure, the ego coming in, gosh, I've had all that stuff happen to me, and it still happens. And it's just a constant work in progress. And I think that's the other thing that people need to understand is you're not going to just, we can't just fix everything like everything can break, anything can break. You just have to keep constantly fixing it. It's like failure. You might fail once, you might fail twice, you might fail 10 times, then you might be successful 3 times, and then you might fail again. It's how you get back up.
Amen.
It's not failure. It's how you get back up on your feet. And even if you've got to crawl to the chair first, pull yourself up to the chair, pull yourself up to the seat to sit down, and then sit for a little while and then stand up. It doesn't matter how you get back up as long as you get back up. And it doesn't matter how long it takes. Exactly. So I'm preaching, man. Must be that cold. I'm preaching.
You go, girl. You got it rocking and rolling. But the thing is, we can all conquer these fears and move past them. You really can move past it. I've lived it. You've lived it. I'm sure people in our audience have lived it as well. We get through it. If you've gotten through something, share it with us. Share how you did it, because you know what? These contributions are helping all of us grow.
It helps me every week. It helps me every week because it's just a reminder. And I think a lot of this is just reminders. We've got to be kept reminded every single day about how to move forward in life. Life is a journey. The past is already gone. 5 minutes ago is already gone. We can't get that back anymore. So what can I do now to make my life better? So that's the one other thing is fear sometimes will put you in the past. It'll put you because you're thinking about, oh my God, I didn't do this and I didn't do that. Well, that was yesterday. That was 5 minutes ago. That was last year. You can change that now.
Yeah.
You can make your dreams come true if you start now. And even if you only go 2 feet or if you only go 1 inch, it doesn't matter as long as you're moving forward. And then if you take 2 steps back, well, stuff happens. And you get back up and you move forward. And I think that's the key. We have to keep reminding people that it's okay not to be perfect.
Yeah.
You know, because God, I don't know of any perfect thing. I mean, well, do you know of anything perfect? I mean, you know.
I think fancy's kind of perfect.
Well, fancy is, you know. Although, to some people, she may be a mess, because look at that hair. You know, so some people might think she's a mess. But, you know, in my mind, she's perfect, and in everybody else's, you know, in her mind, she's perfect. So I think we just really need to understand that we need to simplify things. I think a lot of times we make everything a mountain. And fear comes onto us like a mountain, and it paralyzes us. And if you can just step back 5 steps and go, wait a minute, I can do this because I trust myself, and I'm going to trust in whoever you might believe in or the universe. I'm going to trust, and I'm going to let it happen. There is a part of this, and I'm going to ask you about this because we have just a couple minutes left. Augie, by doing everything you possibly can, sometimes we also have to trust, right?
Yes.
And how do you perceive that when I say that word trust?
Well, that's a biggie. And I want to share a story quickly before we go. So I was trying to redo a website. I didn't do, twice I did this now. 2 times, not 1, but 2, where I don't feel like I researched it enough, and I spent a lot of money not doing proper follow through and research, right? So now I've had this fear of getting it going forward because I went, oh, I'm gonna waste money again. I don't trust myself. I'm answering you, going, yes. I'm not gonna make a wise decision again because look, I've already done it twice. But then I went, did I learn from it? Yuppers, I did. So do I know how to research better now? Yes, I do. And I'm being much more cognizant. Maybe I'm going a little slower, but I think that's good because before I went too fast. But I learned from those experiences. Now I'm saying, yes, trust, and you're going to invest again, but you're going to do it really smarter, wiser, more thoughtfully. You know, and I'm glad you mentioned that story because that's funny. I had the same story just happened to me this last couple of weeks. It was kind of like, you know, and that's one of the words I came up with was trust myself again. Trust that, you know, because I've made some really bad mistakes in certain things and spent a lot of money and spent a lot of time, and it gets you frustrated. So it brings the fear of failure on, right? It brings that fear of failure. And in reality, but you hit a key word there. Besides trusting is educating. And the more we can educate ourselves in the area that we're working on, the more we do this, the more research, and with Google out there and Bing and all that stuff, it's a lot easier to research than it was 20 years ago. Oh, absolutely. So that's what I started believing in this last few days. While I was laying in bed sick because I didn't have anything else to think about. I was thinking about these things. It's like, you know what? You're educating yourself. You need to trust yourself and move forward, because otherwise you're going to just stay right where you are, scared. And so trust that you've educated yourself. And if you feel your needs more, educate yourself some more. Keep educating yourself every single day and learning something. And you're going to be surprised of just how trusting you can. And you still might make a mistake, but
at least you're probably a lesser mistake, you know, in most cases. So
I think it's really hard when they're costly financially. I think those mistakes actually drive us more into the fear of failure, going,
yes,
I screwed up. I spent all that money and I didn't get what I wanted from it. I should have known that. We start that whole blah, 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 blah. Right. And now we can't move forward. And now we can't go towards that goal we want because now we're dragging our heels because now we have it's just a vicious cycle of being afraid.
Bring that baggage along with us. And so how I've actually am stopping that, because I was right there with you, Augie. And I'm sure a lot of people are scared of this, especially with the internet this way that it is these days, spending money and you think everybody's great and there's a guru and you try all these things and you do this, you do that. And I realized that I've gotten so much smarter that I actually, somebody mentioned a couple things to me the other day, and I was able to go and research it to find out that might be okay, but I wouldn't necessarily spend my money on that one type of thing. So, you know, I've gotten so much smarter. So I move forward, right? I'm trusting myself more. And so every day I have to get up and say, I got to trust myself. And if I'm not trusting myself enough, educate myself, Patricia, on more if you're scared in that area. Trust and educate yourself more. And I do that every day. I get on and I might spend a half hour, an hour trying to educate myself on what's going on and that's making me fear of failure.
And then when you're doing that and you're researching, go, oh, I can do that. Now you're turning fear around into trust and positivity. And then you can conquer that by going, oh, I've got this. You know, like I'm moving forward with the website. I've really done a lot more research. I've really put a lot more thought into it. And I'm going to spend the money again, because guess what? I'm going to do this.
Exactly.
Not going to be afraid, because I found myself dragging my heels and going, why? And I went, because I'm afraid I'm going to waste money again. That was the fear. I'm going to waste money again. Or like even with my Noon program, oh, you tried this, you tried that, well, what if this is the one? And I want to tell you my one goal this month, I want to share with everybody. I have released 6 pounds from this body that I'm very excited about. The process is slow, but beautiful, methodical, and I feel really great about my goal and my results.
And I'll add one more thing to because we're probably to close up here soon, but one more thing to this fear of failure is, and the trust part and the education part is to really just move forward or keep doing something. Is start, because you have to start moving forward, because otherwise you're just going to remain the same. So the education, I think, and trusting yourself and realizing that I've got to move forward. And here's the other thing that I just realized when you were talking, all those mistakes that I did, I grew so much. Yes. It was a little costly. It was a costly growth, but I grew. The growth that I have so much that expands now, that I am so much smarter. I can trust myself in so many ways, and that I will, and also to be consistent, and also to just not only start and consistent, but commit. Just like you said, commit to something. So, because we can buy all these guru things all day long, and we can do them, but sometimes we need to commit to learn something from those things. Because even if we may not learn everything, but maybe we learn something from them.
Yes.
And you gotta do that takeaway. So whatever, like you're on your Noon, you did buy it, you spent the money, but you've also committed.
Yes. And not at first. Not at first. I had a couple slipbacks, and I did not let that prevent me from moving forward. Like I think in the past, I would trip up and then go, oh yeah, it's too hard. I don't want to do it. And then go back to behavior.
Yeah, exactly.
Ego would pull me right back.
So what's our few steps? What's our few steps to as we leave today that we can leave people with?
Really reframe your goals. Let me see what else there. Ask yourself those great questions. Read that article. Surrender to the fear and move past through it. Yes. And next week we're going to talk about really breaking down goals. And because you may have big goal, but how do we break it down and then make mini goals? And we're going to be really delving into, we talked about some of this hard stuff in the beginning, because if you don't, thanks Monique, I really appreciate that. If we don't get through some of this hard stuff that we talked about, people go, this is hard. Why are they talking about? If you can't conquer this part, the talking about how you break down your goals and really get results from them, you won't make it if you don't get this part over here settled.
Yeah, we got to break it down. It's a process, everybody. It's a process.
It's a process. So next week, we're going to be diving into more of the breaking it down and how to, tools that you can use so that you're really working towards and planning great results for goals that you want to achieve this month, this year, this week, whatever it is, whatever you want results from.
Absolutely. Because we want all of you guys to get real life results along with us. We want real life results too. So we're committed to commit to you, to help you and support you. Commit to yourself, trust in yourself, and let us help support you. Please put in your comment in the comments what we can do for you, what we can help you with. And Monique, feel free to PM me and talk to me about anything you'd like. And I guess that's pretty much
a goal from the audience too. Whether you're here now or you're watching it later, what's one goal that you really want to achieve this year? An important goal. It's so great to share it. When you write it down and you share it, you really spew to the universe what you want.
Right. And we have to trust in ourselves and the universe by spewing it out there that it's going to happen, and then starting committing it. And then just when you ever hear that word fear pop up in your head again, I want you to be like that cartoon that says bam, bam, get rid of it. You're out of here.
Yes. Surrender, feel it, let it go. Exactly. Patricia, this was a great session. I think we really covered some really meaty thoughts about conquering the fear of failure, because we're absolutely capable of doing it, right?
We absolutely are. And not will we are doing it. We are conquering fear. No matter what hits us in front of our face, we are conquering it. So, okay, I think that's enough for us today. We've taken up a lot of your time. We love all of you. Thank you for all your support. This is Patricia Love. I'm your RahRah Real Estate agent. And Augie Anderson, your digital diva. Diva Ventures. I'm venturing into so many cool things this year. And this real life results is helping empower me too. I want to thank everybody for joining us. Yes, thanks for joining us, everybody. Now go out and make somebody smile. Take care, guys.
Yeah. Woohoo!